Guys, welcome to my next review. I'm joking. Anyway, welcome to my right. Welcome to my movie review of Wonder Woman 2. No, of Wonder Woman 1984. Which came out in the year, or was made in the year 2020, or it came out in 2020. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it was made in 2020. Now, I only saw this the other day. I only watched it a couple of days ago for the first time. I didn't get to see it in cinema because there was this thing called the pandemic, and I wasn't able to go and see it during the pandemic. Um, and I got this last year for my birthday, but I was kind of put off watching it for a while because I heard a lot of bad things about it. But I was going to watch it, so I finally got around to watching it. And I got to be honest, don't hate me, don't kill me, do not come at me. I kind of love this movie. Okay, I'll explain why. But let me just get into the review and get into the plot. So the plot of Wonder Woman 1984 is it's now the 80s. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is living in an apartment. She is working as like an archaeologist in this place, and she's well respected. So everyone's like, "Good morning, Diana." Gives her respect, and men are trying to hit on her, and she's just not interested in any of them. Meanwhile, going about her daily life by jogging and all this other stuff, but also stopping criminals and being Wonder Woman and stopping bad guys like robbers and all of these other fucking bastards. Hurts. Anyway, she's also mourning the loss still of Steve Trevor from the first one after he, blew himself up in the plane. And essentially, I wonder who's watching. Let's see, it's probably a porn site, isn't it? Oh, it's Hayden Jones. Hey, Hayden. What's up? So yeah, essentially, um, basically being a superhero, stopping bad guys, such and such. But she's more than lost Steve Trevor. She still has his watch and all his other stuff, and isn't really ready to move on, and is just still mourning the loss decades later. Um, but anyway, meanwhile, you got this chick, by the name of what is her name? It's played by Kristen Wiig. Um, okay, one second, one second. Played by Kristen Wiig. Her character's name. One second. Second. No, I know the fucking. I know what's her actual name though. Her actual character's name. Uh, one second. This is a very Rambo for life thing to do here. Uh, okay. Uh, okay. Her name, Barbara. Yeah, fucking knew it, Barbara. Um, basically, so yeah, Barbara. And essentially, what ends up happening is Barbara is like this nerdy girl. She's dropping her files. People kind of ignore her, don't help her out, aren't nice to her, basically do not know who she is. The only person that helps her out is Gal Gadot. But then Barbara wants to become friends with uh, Diana. But Diana's like, oh, I can't really have lunch. I'm very busy. But she's able to make time from her busy schedule to have dinner. Um, so they end up having dinner and becoming really, really good friends, talking about their love life, laughing at each other. And at first, you're kind of thinking, is there going to be like a lesbian thing? Which I was kind of like, please, please, please. But no, there wasn't. Um, so yeah, they become good friends, look at artifacts, and one of the artifacts that they look at is this thing that if you talk to it, it grants any wish. It's this powerful thing that came from the gods or whatever, and it grants your wish. Um, so Someone asks for coffee, they get it instantly. Then Diana, she just looks at it. We get a great show don't tell moment where she's looking at it, and you know in her head that she's wishing for Steve Trevor to come back, so she goes home normally. Um, Meanwhile, we also have this guy by the name of Max. What's his second name? Max Lord, who is on all these TV commercials, and of course going on about like how his company's big and stuff, and we get that famous "life's good, but it could be better," which is like a meme. It became a big ass meme. So he's in his company talking to everyone, people are respecting him. He's going around to people, but there's a guy and he's spending. He's like, "Oh, sir, it's your time today or whatever," and his father, the his son is there, and he has to spend time with his son, and then he's kind of being kicked out of his company, and in general he wants to impress. Basically his company's not doing so well, and he's not going to get to be big like he wants to, and he keeps telling his son that he will be um big and all that stuff, and basically doesn't want to disappoint his son, and the son, all he really wants is a dad. But Max hears about this kind of artifact and is also looking for it, and basically wants to make a wish with it. Anyway, uh, Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara, ends up pretty much. Um, Kristen Wiig's Barbara ends up fucking taking the stone and then wishing for her to be sexy and powerful and confident like Diana, and then she gets that, and everyone starts recognizing her, and her life gets better. But also, there's a scene just before that where Kristen Wiig gets attacked by this guy, and then Diana beats the fucking shit out of him. So they're at a party, they're getting to know each other. She ends up, when at the office, she ends up meeting Max, and I believe Diana, and they're talking, and she kind of has Diana's kind of sus about him, but he wants the artifact, so he ends up going to this party with her, Diana, and um, fucking what's her face, Barbara, are at this party along with fucking Max and Barbara hit it off. They start making out, kissing or whatever, and essentially he ends up talking about the stone and stealing it, and then he ends up wishing that he was the stone, and he gets people to make a wish, and if people make a wish to him, it automatically happens. So he wishes for his company to be big, and it is. He wishes for the guy to disappear, and he basically starts being a selfish prick and wishing for different things to happen. Essentially, what ends up happening then is basically um at the party, this guy starts coming up to uh fucking Diana and says Diana, and she's like, "Would you leave me the fuck alone, please, Diana? Please come, like, talk to me." And she doesn't actually say fuck. And then she goes, "Please, just leave me alone. I don't know you." And then the guy goes, "Diana, I wish we had more time," repeating a line that Steve Trevor said in the first movie. And then, you know what? Okay, naked fucking HD, go fuck yourself, okay? Yeah, fuck you and your fucking porn sites. Anyway, um, so basically, the guy ends up saying, "Wish we had more time," and then he's like, "Diana, it's me," and she's like, "Wait, Steve," and all this, and then in her mind, we then see Chris Pine's face, and then they start making out and kissing, and Steve Trevor is alive in another guy's body. And then we kind of get a bit of a role reversal from the first one. Diana's now more familiar with life, and then she starts going, showing um, Steve around and all that stuff. Uh, and we of course he's like freaked out by escalators. He's like, "Whoa!" It's like, "No, no, it's okay, Steve. They're just breakdancing." He sees these people breakdancing. Um, then they're walking and they're talking. And he's like, "So what do you remember?" He's like, "I remember going up in the air on the plane, and then that's it. I don't remember anything else." Um, you know, and you've all of that kind of moment, and then they end up making out and having sex. Have sex, have sex, have sex. Poop my answer. Yes, sorry, I had to do that. I had to do it. Anyway, so they have sex. Now, I'm gonna get into a bit of an issue here. It's a bit weird, right? Um, it's a bit weird, and I'll tell you why it's a bit weird. Someone else's body, and she has sex with it. Mm, it's a bit daddy now, hey. Sorry, it's a bit daddy lad. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. And essentially, what ends up happening then is, yeah, I'm going through the whole movie because you know what, it's a big plot. You know, Max keeps like wishing on things. Kristen Wiig is kind of enjoying her better life, being more confident. Um, Gal Gadot, Diana and Steve want to know more about the stone and learn about it, and she wants to learn more about it as well. But she's also just enjoying her life with Steve. And essentially, what ends up happening is, uh, they do things like they fly a plane, they get on a flight, they fly, and essentially we get this scene where it's the 4th of July and fireworks are going off, and it's that scene right there, and I think it looks amazing. And we also get that part where, like on that scene, when she's flying, she ends up turning the jet invisible, and then we get the introduction of the invisible jet in this movie, which Wonder Woman is known for, and she didn't get that in the first one. So, yeah. Um, we also kind of have Pedro Pascal. He starts getting more and more sick the more he uses the stone. He's like, "God damn it!" And his son is there, and he's like, uh, basically getting fucking annoyed at his son. Uh, and he's getting really, really busy with his job and is wishing for everything, and people keep making wishes, and the stone is slowly killing him. And they figure out that he wished that when they're with this other person, that he wished to be the stone, and that a lot of people are going to get hurt if he doesn't renounce the wish. But then she also has the hard choice of, like, she learns about gods and about the wish, and then also basically when learning about the gods and learning about the wish, what ends up happening is, uh sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by something. That's why I'm kind of taking my sweet time. When she learns about the gods and she learns about the wee wish, um, she learns that the only way to really get the horrible shit to stop, and the things, all this stuff to happen to stop people getting hurt, and the evil god or something being coming down and killing them, or whatever the fuck, is they have to renounce the wish. Essentially, they have to renounce the wish, and she basically, Kristen Wiig's like, "No, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, no, I can't be a part of that." So that's when we start seeing the more selfish dark side of her. And then Diana's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm sure I'm sure there's another way. I'm sure there's another way." And Steve is kind of like, "Look, if it's going to help people, maybe you should renounce the wish and just have me die again." It's like, "No, no, there's going to be another way." Um, and essentially, the movie, like, we then see the more darker side of Kristen Wiig's character, and she starts to become more aggressive, more villainous and has the typical oh nerdy person that kind of starts to become a little bit more villainous. A little bit similar to, okay, Hayden, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not going to be answering questions on movie reviews because it's just that you can do that on, you can ask me questions on a hangout show episode or just a regular live stream, but on movie reviews, I'm going to focus. That's why I'm not really focusing right now. I'm going to actually turn the comment section off. I don't mind you commenting. I'm not trying to be mean saying that. Look, at least you're not that fucking guy Zane. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so essentially she kind of starts taking a more darker side, getting more aggressive, and she even beats the living fuck, possibly kills the guy that tried to attack her earlier. And pretty much then, uh, Max is also trying to like get these weapons to be launched by um to getting the president to launch these weapons, and he kind of convinced them, and the president does that, and Max kind of puts the whole world in danger and goes on public TV wanting everyone to wish for everything, um and that causes fucking chaos and all over the world, America, England, all these other countries. He also goes over to Egypt and like fucking um causes a guy to die. This is takes this guy's entire empire and hands it over to him and all these other places. Um and eventually Gal Gadot and uh Chris Pine go there, or Diana and Steve Trevor go there, um, go on a taxi, and they have to try and warn Max, look, you're about to put yourself in danger. Then she comes out as Wonder Woman, starts kicking ass and they're shooting and all, and she saves Steve again and uses the lasso of truth and all of that kind of stuff. So, um, so he doesn't listen at first. Now when he's in America, they do more stuff. They fight more and more and more. There's a great fight scene in the White House near the end, where she's fighting all the bodyguards, and she fights Kristen Wiig, who starts teaming up with oh, what's his face, with Max, and essentially, you know, as they're fighting, 10 fucking comments. What the hell? Oh, that's all together. I thought I just got 10 comments there. Oh, I did. Naked. Okay, you know what? What is it with these streams? Anyway, so yeah, so essentially, you know, her and Steve team up. They fight off these fuckers. Max and uh, fucking thingy also team up as well. Um, Max and Barbara, they fly off, and then as they're flying off, she wishes to be an apex predator. While on the plane, she wants to be feared because she likes animals and she wants to be an apex predator. And then she becomes a cheetah. So as the world is going into chaos, people are dying. An English girl says, "I wish all you Irish went back to where you came from." First of all, fuck you, bitch. That's the character, not the actress. And then the guy who's meant to be Irish goes, "I wish you'd drop dead," even though he's clearly English. He probably has Irish blood. I don't know. And then she has a heart attack. It's all that stuff. And he's basically, Diana has to stop Max from making all these fucking wishes and stuff. Um, and from there on out, um, from there on out, you know, you pretty much get. You know what? I think it's just the fact that people are up. This is why I prefer doing reviews at night, to be honest. Anyway, because I just feel awkward doing them at day. I don't know. But anyway, so Then essentially what ends up happening is she ends up having to renounce her wish for Steve while in the costume, while trying to stop people. She starts crying, not wanting to do it, because the thing is, as well, that the more and more that thing happens, that like thing happens, the powerful thing, um, the wish thing, uh, people, the more that people are wishing for things to happen, the more it is fucking with Diana's powers, and she'll end up losing her powers, and it makes her weaker and weaker, and she isn't able to fully like control her powers when she tries to do that when she's fighting Sheeta. So it's causing a lot of problems essentially. So in order to get her powers back, in order for her to save the world, she has to renounce the wish. She doesn't want to do it at first, but she's nearly dying or losing her powers, becoming weak. So she runs away, kisses Steve. Steve dies again or goes back to dying. She screams, jumps on a plane like with the lasso, ends up flying for a bit. Eventually, she ends up finding this golden suit that we see at the beginning of the movie, because we do get a flashback to the Amazons again, and we get the mother and the aunt from the first one, and I think the same actress that plays young Diana, and we get that whole arena thing and the game, which is famous in the comics and the Greek mythology and cartoons and stuff. But anyway, she ends up stealing this golden thing, Sue, fighting these fuckers off. She ends up getting into a gigantic fight with Cheetah in the final act, while Max is like being powerful, and she ends up electrocuting Cheetah, knocking her out, stopping her. Then eventually she ends up going to Max and trying to get him to stop in a very long scene. She did mention earlier on in the movie that the lasso of truth also helps people see. And essentially, she ends up stopping Thingy, showing him visions of where his son is, because his son runs away from being scared and people are trying to break into the company and all this. Um, and he starts freaking the fuck out, and he turns good, runs away to get his son. The world stops. The wishes all get renounced. Everyone renounces their wish. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's another issue I kind of have actually. Now I'll get to that. And then um, he reunites with his son, learns his lesson. Then Diana moves on, and it comes to Christmas. Then she meets the guy. Coincidentally, meets the guy that was in Steve's body. They get together, and then we get a post-credit scene where something's about to fall over, and this woman catches it. So that's the entire movie in a nutshell. Now, I love this film, and I'm going to get into why I love this movie. Okay. Okay, I really want to get this done quickly. So, I thought it was fun. Long story short, I thought it was a fun superhero movie, fun action. I really liked the whole 80s vibe that the movie had. Um, and essentially, I enjoyed seeing some of the characters come back. Now, I'm going to get into my issues with the movie first. I do find the whole everyone renouncing their wish at the end. Come on. Would every single person be like that? No, because there's villains in the world. Why would they want to renounce the wish? People who are selfish, why would they want to renounce the wish? But it's kind of one of them things where like, I don't care, just go with it. Um, Another thing is, as I mentioned earlier, the whole thing with uh, Steve Trevor being in that guy's body, and Diana sleeping with him. It's fucking a bit odd. You know what I mean? And it does seem like rape, if I'm being honest. Because that's another guy's body, even though he's out of conscience. And I know that she sees Steve, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that. And also the other thing is, Although I like the whole transformation with Kristen Wiig as Barbara, it's been done to death. Oh, a nerdy person that wants to fit in, seems nice at the beginning, turns into a villain. We've seen that in Batman Forever. We've seen it in Batman and Robin. We've seen it in Iron Man 3. You know what I mean? We've seen this story done before. We've seen it in something else as well, haven't we? Yeah, like we've seen it before. So I don't know why we gotta see it again. But getting into some of my favorite scenes in the film. Um, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Uh, I'm gonna be right back because I'm feeling awkward right now. No, I'm joking. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some of my favorite scenes in the film. One of my favorite moments, okay, is the opening. So we go, oh yeah, everyone is showing the 80s. There's a woman skating. She's like, oh shit, or like roller skating, and then nearly gets hit by a car, and then Diana just stops it and it spins around and like and she like saves the woman by like getting the lasso, and it's like, oh, a woman seems to be going around helping people and all that stuff. And then we get the life is good, but it could be better. Commercial and stuff like that. And I really like that kind of scene there. I love the part where they're in the mall. I thought that scene was really really fun. Um, Basically there's like a part where there's like bad guys like get on the ground, get on the ground. I think Diana's like, yes, so the world is different now, blah blah blah, and it's like, get on the ground, don't take the money, don't try anything stupid. And then essentially the guys are there, and then the cops are like, freeze, freeze, and then the guy grabs this little girl and he goes, stop it, I'll drop her, I swear I'll drop her. And she's like, no, no, no. And he's like, come on, put the kid down, put the kid down. And it's a pretty dark scene. I'm not gonna lie. It is pretty dark. Um, and essentially we get this moment where Wonder Woman comes in with the lasso, fucking skates, throws the people away, throws the people aside. There's a little girl there that she picks up and spins to and she's like, yay, and she goes, wee, and she kisses the teddy bear, she's like winking, and it's like, hello, and it's like, you can't stop me. It's like, yes I can. And she's kind of like fucking them up and all, and taking the guns off them, and like one goes to shoot and she ends up breaking it like that. I hate guns and all that. And then she fucking throws him into this thing. It's like I won't do it again, or whatever. And then she ends up swinging. It's well, he drops the girl. She ends up swinging and catching her, and it's just this great fight scene. And she stops them and breaks them, and then throws them at the windows. Like, where did they go? And then they hit the car. I don't know. I really like that scene. It was a great scene. It's like, who is this woman? This woman's great. See you later. And then she runs off, and everyone's like, whoa. And I really like the way the suit looks as well. I thought the suit was uh, really nice looking and slightly different to how it was in the first ones, but a little bit more colourful. I also felt like the movie was just very colourful. It captured the 80s well and the time period, the cars, the red, all that kind of stuff. And she goes home. It's like, who is this woman? Climbs in her window, and then is looking at the watch, is looking at the picture of Steve Trevor and all this stuff, and she's kind of just like remembering him, you know. Um, so I love that. I love the chemistry once again between uh, Gal Gadot as Diana Wonder Woman and Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. I absolutely love the chemistry that they have. That scene where she's at the party, she's looking around, okay, I have to see what's going on. And just kind of looking around, and people like, hey, honey, you want to do it? And she's like, no, not interested. Hey, honey, what's going on? And like any guy that tries to throw herself at her, she's just not into it. So I really like that. Um, and the guy's like, Diana, she's like, please just leave me alone. She's like, Diana, I wish we had more time. And she's like, what, Steve? And then she ends up kissing him. And, it's a really sweet kind of scene. and they go back to the apartment, and like, well, Steve, it's great. And I like the idea that like she just sees his face, like, I just see you in the mirror. I don't. I was like, well, I'm looking good, and he's like, damn, I'm looking good, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I just see you, and it's a great emotional scene. And they kiss and they make out, and they have sex. It's like, yeah, and he's like, this place is amazing, and I like seeing him react to the 80s. It's an interesting vibe and an interesting development. And I don't know, I love seeing that. And he's like, I wish we could just stay in bed all day. It's like, yeah, I wish we could, but I have to also find out how my boyfriend came back to life. And she's like, oh god, yeah. So they go back and like, oh, she learns more about stone. Oh, it's like an artifact, you know, an artifact that's great and all that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Um, and I like the idea of the wishing stone. I think it's a perfect example of be careful what you wish for, because it's not always going to go well. Um, Almost like a manifestation in a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. Um, you know, they're like, yeah, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And I like the part where, you know, where Kristen Wiig is there looking at it like, oh, what is that? It's like, oh, this is stone, it's an ancient relic, whatever. And then he's like, it's meant to grant wishes. And the guy goes, huh, well, I wish for a cup of coffee. And the guy comes in, here you go. It's like, wow, did you see that? It's like, yeah. So I like that, and I like this friendship that um whatchamacallit, that Diana and Barbara have at the beginning. Now I will say one thing I do like. Now I'm gonna kind of contradict something I said earlier, that I do like that is different to Batman Forever and Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's the other fucking movie I was thinking. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 on it as well. Is, well, not really. Is that I kind of like how they have a friendship at the beginning. You know, um, like at first, like she's like, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. It's like, oh, you go in there, like, hi, I'm Barbara. I was like, who? Barbara. And then you also get the actress that plays Rachel in Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and it's like, hi, Diana. Who are you? It's like, I'm Barbara. It's like, I'm a zoologist or whatever. And she's like, it's like, you hired me last week. The zoologist, yeah. Oh, hi, yeah. Come on in or whatever. And it's like, yeah. And then she's kind of like, hi, do you want to, can you help me with this? And the guy just looks at her like, um, and then she's like, it's like, let me help you with that. And she's like, oh, cool. That's what Diana says. And like, hey, they're just getting to know each other. Like, oh, thank you. It's like, do you want to get lunch? Like, oh, no, I'm way too busy and all that stuff. And it's like, and then she's just kind of talking, oh, thanks for being nice to me. I don't really have friends, so I can get dinner later. It's like, yeah, sure. But I like the use of location, like the use of the artifacts and kind of showing like we're walking in and looking around. And I like that. I like seeing her deal with loss, and she still stays a pure and likable character, like she was in the first one, still wanting to help people, and she's still a fucking badass. Um, but anyway, we get that scene where they're talking at dinner, like, haha, you were so funny. He's like, really? Thank you. It's like, yeah, you just gotta learn to relax. Like, oh, I don't have any friends, like, or whatever. She's like, do you have a love? No, I don't. Did you have love? Yeah, I did. Long time ago. He died. She's like, oh, sorry to hear about that. It's like, who was he? Yeah, he was a pilot or whatever. He died. I was, oh, damn. I'm sorry to hear about that. And it fires like, no, it's fine. Um, so there is that, and I like that kind of like bond that they have or whatever. I like the part where she's going, it's like, hey, honey, like in the park, and she's like, no, don't come near me or whatever. And essentially, you know, she's like, come on, honey, I'm just trying to be nice. Like, get off me. And then Diana just comes in and fucking punches him and he flies. It's like, was he bothering you? It's like, yeah, he was bothering me and stuff. Like, thank you. And then she just goes home and gets the stone, goes into the office, grabs it, steals it, grabs it, and goes, I wish I was like Diana. And it's nice kind of camera trick. I wish I was strong, sexy, and all that. She wakes up, walks around, and instantly people know who she is. Like, hey, Barbara. It's like, oh, Barbara, what's up? Hi, hi. Everyone's like, oh, Barbara. And she's kind of just looking hotter and hotter, and people are noticing her. Um, so I really like that scene, and I can kind of relate to Barbara. Like maybe being a bit socially awkward and being insecure and like, of course, later on she's a mom where I have nothing and you have everything. Everything comes to you so easily, in the White House and stuff. So yeah, um, this might be a longer review due to me stalling so much, so I apologize for that. Um, Pretty much, that's one of my favorite aspects of this film. Yeah. What else? What else? Do. Um, yeah. So that's one of my favorite kind of things about the movie. Um, I really like Pedro Pascal. I'm a big Pedro Pascal fan anyway. I think he's amazing in The Mandalorian as the Mandalorian. I think he was great in The Equalizer 2. He was great in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. And once again, and I can't, and he looks great in that new Nicolas Cage movie where he plays himself. And he's great in this. I love the relationship he has with his son. The whole part. Hey, what's going on? It's like, sir, you can't come in. It's like, what? Oh no, I'm fine, sir. It's your day. And he's like, damn it, or whatever. He's like, God. It's like, oh, it's my day. It's like, hey, how you doing? And all that stuff. Um, oh, what is his son's name again? Oh man, I know it's a name I've heard before. Um, it was like a second name in a movie. Uh, Alistair. Yeah, Alistair. Alistair. He's like, Alistair. He's like, hi, Daddy. He's like, yeah, Daddy has to work. We're gonna have a swim pool. We're gonna be big, and all this kind of stuff. And then his son is there, and he's like, yo, you're lying to your kid now. And he's like, no. He's like, we promise, we're on the peak, like way outside us. We're on the peak of this. And there's a lot of great emotional moments, like where things are basically like, oh, what's happening? He's like, it's your son. God, it's my time again. God damn it. I was like, Alistair, I didn't mean that. He's like, oh. And then there's that great scene where he's flirting with Chris Willis, like, oh hi, remember me? Life's good, but it could be better. Like, oh yeah, yeah. And then like, wow, that artifact's great. And she's talking to Diana, like, oh, you know, um, you know, do you recognize it? Like, that's a nice art. I was like, yeah, well, I gotta go now. Then he's at a party and he's like, yo, I was looking for you. You want to go upstairs? Like, yeah, yeah. And they start making out and they're about to have sex. Like, oh, show me around your office. Oh, this is so cool. And then she ends up picking up the whole, it's like artifact and stealing it and going, I have it. I wish I was the stone. And then he goes in and says, you're going to hand over your company to me. He's like, what are you mad? He's like, I'm here to apologize. Like, no, you don't need to apologize. You're going to hand over your company to me. What? That's insane. And then it does happen. And I wish you disappear from existence. And he does. And it's like, oh shit. Then he's no man to be fucked with. And he's pretty sinister. Um, I love the part where he goes over to Egypt and he's like meeting with the guys. Like, yes, I love your empire, and Egypt looks fucking great. And it really does look like a nice kind of setting as well. And it's like, yeah, um, you're gonna hand over your power to me. He's like, no. He's like, haha, laughing, and then like he's like, wish that all this is yours. I wish it was. And he's like, and then of course I do. And then things just change automatically. I was like, and you're gonna give all your power to me. So he does, and all your men are going to start following me. So he does. And the guy's just like, the fuck? Um, and then they're kind of just walking around Egypt looking around. Um, then there's like a part where they're in a taxi, they get out, like, okay, thank you. And then they're like, we got to go find Max before he ends up hurting people. And then you get this fucking, probably my favorite action scene in the entire movie, to be completely honest. You get this great moment where you know, they're like driving. It's like, oh look, and they're like, oh shit, and they're driving. It's like, oh, come on, Diana, what's up, and all that. And then they're kind of shooting, and she just like hold it there. She puts the thing on, and she's running. Then you get the do no 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 no, and she's running and going pew pew pew, dodging bullets and fucking getting people lassoed through, and they're shooting. And it's like, pew, pew, she's fucking them up, throwing them aside, and fucking them up more, throwing them to the side with the lasso, fucking them up. And it's just a fucking entertaining scene. And then Steve is like, oh shit, going into the action, and like thing kind of crashes, and then it's like shooting at this like part of the jeep and stuff, and then like she's kind of using it, and it's like hitting against the guy and throwing it, and then she smashes like, Max, you're gonna hurt a lot of people. It's like, I know. It's like, where's the stone? You're looking at it and all that, and then they end up attacking, fighting, and it's just this amazing scene where they're shooting and fucking people up, and Steve's kind of helping, and then the bullet's about to go and hit Steve, but then she kind of stops it, mirroring what she done in the first one with the car, and they're fucking it up, and it's this great scene, and then there's these kids on the road, no, what's good out, and then she has to swing and saves them. It's like, be careful, don't play in the streets, it's done in the whole part with the language, and I love that. Um, and I love the style, the music, the use of the 80s. Um, I love the part where it's like, I need you to research more. She's like, yeah, yeah, cool. So she's researching, Barbara's researching, and she's like, go get me this. Do you want anything? He's like, no, go get me this. Like, okay, like, get me a nail. I was like, okay, don't be mean about it. And she just runs out, and then she's like sprinting. And the guy's like, hey, baby, whatever. He's like, no, no, thanks. Hi, honey, interested? No, no. And then the guy from earlier comes, hi, you interested? And he's like, no, I want you to stop harassing people. It's like, no, well, I should have taught you a lesson. He's like, what are you going to do about it? And she grabs him in a really satisfying scene, and she fucking throws him to a truck. It's like, you got to stop harassing people. And starts kicking them and punching them. And music in that scene is intense. And it's effective. And she starts fucking punching, kicking them, and fucking them up. And the homeless guy from earlier is looking, it's like, sir, Barbara, what have you done? And he's like, mind your business, and runs off. And he's like, sir. And it's just this fucking intense scene. Like, holy shit. And there is a scene earlier where she's talking, hey, Barbara, how are you? It's like, oh, I'm doing fine. And she's like being nice to this homeless guy, and it's nice character development. Um, but as I said, I love the relationship between Steve Trevor. The humor with the two of them is great. And it's like, oh, great, what is that? It's an escalator. It's like, oh no, it's okay, it's fine. And then when he sees the airplane, when they're walking, he's like, wow, that's incredible. This place is incredible, Diana. I don't want to leave it, and all that. And it's a movie about dealing with loss and having to accept loss, and that's deep, But so yeah, and then you have the whole scene where like, yo, we get where there's people rioting, like, what are we gonna do? We can't get through there. It's gonna be hard. Okay, pick up the lock, and then she just like, breaks it, goes in, like, okay, look at this, and she's like, whoa, and all that. And then there's the part where like, can we go on planes? Like, no. And then works as pilot, and then they sneak on, and they grab something, and then they drive, and he's like, oh, I remember drive this. Okay, let me look at this. Okay, that no, 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 no. Here we go. And then the driver's like, sir, someone's on the playing field. It's like, wait, what? It's like, no. And then he's like, oh shit, And then he's like, what are we gonna do? It's like, so even and like, oh, we're gonna go. And then they fly up in the air, and she's like, Steve, even with the flying up in the air is not gonna help this situation. I was like, what? She's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm trying to do this whole technique I knew that God taught me. And then she turns the whole jet invisible, and then you just get this visually stunning scene, an amazing scene between the two of them, where they're in the sky and like, wow, what is that? Fireworks. 4th of July. It's like, wait, the 4th, just July, like July 4th? It's like, yeah. It's like, whoa. So it's just this really nice scene, great bond between the two characters. And they're talking, and then they're flying down. And I like those little kind of slower moments. I like the part where they're meeting up with this guy. Hey, we got to meet up with this guy. He's like, yeah, so this relic is old. You got to get rid of the wish. And she's like, and then Chris Wigg's like, no, sorry, I don't want to do that. Being selfish. No, Diana. It's like, that's not happening. And then you get that amazing fucking scene in the White House. They go in like, Mr. President, we got to stop. She's there. And they're like, free, stop. And he's like, and she goes into the fight. It's like, you got to stop this. And he's like, no. And then all of that. And she's throwing the fucking thing. And she's whipping the lasso. And then they're shooting bullets. Like, they can't help it. Don't hurt them. And then she's just going, and then they fucking hit him. And she flies back. And the other guy flies back. And then Steve tries back and he's like hitting and shooting. He's like, don't kill them and all that. And then she's about to fight Max, and then fucking Kristen Wiig comes out and punches him and goes, you hurt him and I will kill you. And he's like, Barbara, stop this. This is not you. And they're like, yes, it is. I'm not gonna let you take this away from me. I've waited for this my whole life. And then they start fucking fighting, and this great scene. She's like getting the lasso, and she like grabs it at this part right here, throws it, and they start punching and fucking hitting. And she punches her like to the part where she's bleeding. And she's like, Barbara, you got to stop this. No, I've got nothing. You're not going to take my wish away from me. And then runs and like they start fighting, and just this great action set piece, and they're fighting and all that. And then, the scene later on where they're fighting at the where I was like, wait, what is that? Where they're like, oh shit, running at the gun, she flies, and the gold suit fucks the two people up. And then Barbara's just jumping like when they're fighting and like fucking scratching each other and hitting each other, fucking each other up. It's class. Anyway, and they're fucking each other up, and it's just a badass fucking scene. And they're fighting. It's like, I'm not gonna let you do this to me. It's like, Barbara, stop this and all that. And then the gold suit looks great. I love when she comes down and reveals it. Like, that's it. Flies and like takes it off or whatever. And then she fights, and then goes, I'm sorry about this, Barbara. Electrocutes her. And it's a nice scene. It's a really beautiful scene of someone getting electrocuted. Anyway, so yeah, I like that. I love the part where she's like, come on, Steve, let me show you something. And then he's like, whoa, that's incredible. It's the whole part with the rocket, and like, wow. And he's looking around going, whoa, what are they doing? Oh no, whoa, they're breakdancing. Steve, it's fine, they're just breakdancing. Like, whoa, and all that. And he's still got that kind of added humor with the two of them. Like, whoa. So it's kind of like she's teaching him how to behave and stuff like that. Um, and there's kind of hints of her becoming a cheetah earlier on in the movie. Like, they're talking, and then there's the part where they get on the jet plane and they talk to each other. Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig, Maxwell, Lord, and Cheetah. It's like Mr. Lord, which is kind of funny. This is just my longest review. Yeah, I apologize. Just the awkwardness earlier was getting me a bit distracted. Um, and then there was a part I really loved as well, where what's the opening scene. You get the whole title, and you get the whole you know Atlantis, and the beautiful shots of it again, and the whole scene of yay, and they're like yay, and then you get the aunt from the first one, and that died, and then the mother talking, oh yeah, Diana's going to do this, yeah. It's like, you got to do it, Diana. Like, let's go. And then they throw the thing through the hoop, and they're doing all these challenges, and she's climbing up, and she gets on a horse, and it's like, yeah, yeah, no. She's running, she runs to the beach, gets on a horse, other people are running, older people, and she's like ahead of them, and she thinks she's doing great, and then she ends up knocking herself out because of the tree. And then she ends up finding this like kind of slide, and it slides down, and then is on the horse again, and then runs back, runs in front of them, and is about to throw it in, but they stop. It's like, stop it, no, it's not fair. It's like, you cheated, Diana. Your time will come. When will it come? It's not fair. Like, all time it will come, princess. I wasn't always like this myself. So that was great. Love the opening music. I love the way the title pops up, WW84. I love that scene where she's like, you gotta renounce the wish because I'll die. She's like, no. And then there's the part where they're in the house, and she's like, um, you gotta renounce the wish. She's like, no, Steve, no. And they have an argument. Like, I do not want to renounce the wish. We're not having this conversation, Steve. Um, I thought that scene was powerful. And she's like, you gotta do it. I want my boyfriend back. I just want to have everything. And then loads of scenes of people going, Sarah, what's happening? The world's going to chaos, and a bunch of scenes. And then it's like, yes, granted, granted, granted. Where Pedro Pascal's granting everything. You're granted, granted. And I wish I wish you all should go back to where you came from. I wish you dropped dead. And then she does. And then later on, they're being taken away and stuff. Um, and then there's that whole fucking scene, uh, where she's like, "You gotta," her now. So she's like, "I don't want to, please," and they're crying, "Steve, please don't," and she's crying and kissing him, and she goes, "I'm sorry," and then she runs, okay, runs away. I renounce the wish, cries, and then goes, "No," and then jumps up, and then there's this amazing scene where she's flying, and she gets the lasso onto the plane, and the plane flies, and she kind of flies like that, and it's nice and visually stunning. Flies, and then even the final shot of the movie is her flying kind of towards the camera, kind of like a bit like Superman, like that. I really like that. Um, and then what else do I like in the movie? I think the cinematography and the action scenes are done really well. I love the new music. They're gonna do, and then the old music do and it's even slightly done differently. Um, I think the acting and the chemistry is going great. I actually really like the villains. I love the ending where it's Christmas and she's looking around like, oh, it's beautiful. It's like, yeah, it's amazing and all that. It's like, I love Snowfall. And they're getting to know each other. I'm Diana. I'm staying. I'll be seeing you again. Yeah, it's great. And then she kind of moves on. She winks at the girls, like, and then there's also that great post credit scene where people are falling and um no, where something's about to fall. Like, oh no, and the girl comes and helps her and goes, "Sorry, I'll help you with that." It's like, "Thank you very much." I was like, "No problem." And then it's like a guest appearance. I love that. Um, a lot of scenes where we're running on, dodging shit and flying and hitting it. I also like the part at the beginning. It's like that suit over there is the golden suit, where it's kind of like a foreshadowing. That's what the gods used. She also is like, oh, that's an ancient god that will kill everyone. And then she also goes, the lasso of truth doesn't just tell the truth; it also helps people to see. So I also like the kind of development of how it gets more closer to the comics, like the Invisible Jet. I like the idea of it dealing with loss. The emotion was good. I thought the humor worked pretty well. Um, there's the whole scene with the president, like, Mr. President, what can you do? Oh, you can launch the things. Like, can we launch it? It's like, things are in trouble. It's like, oh, yeah, why don't we just launch the missiles? It's like, yeah, we can. So then she has to stop the missiles from being launched. Um, and then all of that stuff. Uh, and then there's obviously the whole final act where it's like, you got to stop this. Like, no, it's too late. And then we already see a part where, like, he's like, Daddy, I'm scared. Daddy, Alice just there, and everyone in the office is going crazy. And I love how he's like, I wish we had a full office. Like, I wish we had a full office. And then the whole office full, like, hi. It's like, you're hired, you're hired, you're hired. And the whole office is just going insane. Um, and even, I like all of that. So then you have the final act, the final scene where she's all like, "Oh, you have to stop this, please, please." And I was like, "No, no, stop it." And then he realizes, sees the vision. You get flashbacks to his childhood and people bullying him. I was like, "Oh, look at his shoes. What a weirdo, holes in his shoes." And people bullying him and making fun of him in class. And he's like, Alistair, Alistair, and has abusive parents and hitting them. And it's a dark scene for a movie that's only rated 12. It's pretty dark. And then he's like, Alistair, and then he runs back to Alistair, and you know, he hugs him. He's like, Dad, I wish that you love me. He's like, No, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a great man. He was saying I'm a great man and all that. It's like, I just want to spend time with you. He's like, I do love you. You don't need to ever wish to love me because I always love you. It's a great scene. It's a nice turning good scene. I also really like the whole scene where, um, he's talking. It's like, Dad, I just want to be. He's like, No, anything you want, Alistair, but don't wish for that. Don't waste your wish, Alistair. You can only have one. Um, but I also love the whole positive message. I love the whole scene where she's like giving this gigantic speech at the end, and goes on for a while, and it's like, it's cutting to everyone in the world saying, "You have the power. Life is beautiful. You got to be careful with your wish. You got to be careful what we wish for, and you got to do all that and all that." And they're all like, "I renounce my wish. I renounce my wish." And then, even though I don't really think it's realistic, because bad guys in the world as well. So yeah, I thought I some of the dialogue was a bit cheesy, I'll admit, and not well written. Some of it I thought was very well written. Um, I thought the editing was good. I thought the action was good. Visually, it's nice to look at. The visuals are nice. Action's nice. Comedy's nice. Acting's pretty good. Chemistry between the characters is pretty good. Some of the visual effects are a bit but some of them are great. Music is brilliant. cinematography, audio and post. Sorry. Uh, yeah. And as I said, I love the 80s vibe. I love the way it takes place in the 80s. So I do find it to be an underrated gym. I do really enjoy it. I also find it to be dumb, fun, and enjoyable. It does take a while for it to become Wonder Woman again, uh, to be honest. So yeah, but I am excited for Wonder Woman 3. I know it's kind of weird that I kind of started with the Wonder Woman movies in the DCEU. I don't know. I just felt like it. I've seen all the others. Like I need to review Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Justice League, or Justice League, the original version. I need to review their Suicide Squad. I need to review Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Yeah, and that, guys, I'm sorry for this review being so long. I've bad OCD, and I really gotta start shortening my reviews down because I don't want to make them too long. So yeah, I'd probably give this movie 8 or 9 out of 10. Probably 8 out of 10. I don't think it's that bad. I love it. It looked amazing on Blu-ray. The sound was fucking amazing as well. So yeah, here's the front, the spine, the back. I saw the first one in cinema, but unfortunately, as I said, I didn't see this one in cinema because of the pandemic. But I would have. Um, yeah, I can tell this is a newer Blu-ray. I got this last year, whereas I got the other one in 2017. Yeah. Guys, now I just want to also clarify that I will have some reviews that are long. I'd say when I review the Lord of the Rings trilogy and when I review Infinity War, Endgame, and longer films, my reviews are going to be a lot more in depth. So this is an in-depth, deep look into Wonder Woman 2. Patty Jenkins came back to direct it. I thought she'd done a great job directing. It's weird because the first one was received so well and this one wasn't. This is a hated movie. But yeah, that's my movie review of Wonder Woman 1984. I will see you guys later. And by the one thing I will say as well that it is 151 minutes longer. So if it's funny, the movie's longer and my review for this is longer than my review for the first one. But this movie, it is longer than the first one. But yeah, this is a good movie. And yeah, now, yeah. Okay, I may as well answer the rest of the questions. I'm not going to answer questions. This is a once off. So yeah, I'm reviewing Wonder Woman 1984. I haven't used StreamYard, so I don't know if Melon. I prefer Melon so far. I tried using StreamYard there, and it wouldn't let me fucking sign in. I don't use StreamYard. My favorite GameCube game is probably Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine. Favorite Angry Grandpa video. Fuck. Oh, there was one I loved. I really like the one where he pranks Bridget and wakes her up, or like the whole like when he destroys the kitchen over the candy. I think it's funny as shit. Late great Angry Grandpa. My favorite kid behind a camera video, probably the Chucky prank or one of them ones. Yeah. So that's it for the review. Sorry it was so long. I really am gonna try and shorten some of these reviews down. I'm just getting very OCD about wanting to describe everything. I'm taking too long to describe the plot, so I do apologize. Um, you know, I'm gonna try and narrow it down. See, for blockbuster movies, it is a lot harder. It is a pretty simple plot, as I said. It's about her in the 80s. You know, finds this artifact, brings Steve Trevor back. This guy is using the artifact for the wrong bad. Your woman, played by Kristen Wiig, is sort of like wanting to use it again. Um, oh no, played by Kristen Wiig uses it for selfish reasons to become friends, but she uses it for selfish reasons. Teams up with the guy kissing. Okay, so I got a new comment. Oh, so another porn comment. Go fuck yourself. Right. That's my movie review of Wonder Woman 1984. I hope you guys enjoyed. We may as well make it a fucking hour mark over here. So yeah, in regards to Wonder Woman 3, I'm curious what they're gonna do. Also, another DC topic in regards to the DCEU. What the fuck is with them cancelling Batgirl? I'm gonna do a rant on that. That's fucking ridiculous. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna do a rant about that. I think it's fucking disgusting that they done that. Fuck you, Warner Brothers. They have the nerve to keep Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. I mentioned this in the Ezra Miller video, but yeah, they can't fucking get a Batgirl movie out. I don't know. Anyway, so that's my movie review of Wonder Woman 1984. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. And word out, as Matthew would say, or just bye. Bye.